We are talking about the very first female lawyer in Ghana. The very first. And this is the woman we are talking about today. The very first female lawyer in Ghana. Oh my God. Interesting times. If you are ready, this is the African History Class. Today we're talking about the very first female journalist. Female journalist, I beg your pardon. Female journalist. My brother, my sister. Very first female journalist. My brother, my sister. And it's going to be very interesting. She was also a judge. She wasn't only a journalist. She was the very first female journalist. At the same time, she was a high court judge. My God. This is the African History Class. Come along. Now, today we're talking about Akua Asabea Ayisi. Akua Asabea Ayisi. And that's a photograph you see there. Very pretty young woman. Oh gosh. She was born on the 3rd of April, 2 days after April Fool's Day. On the 3rd of April, she was born in 1927. My brother, my sister, she was a high court judge and the first female Ghanaian journalist. She was trained as a journalist with Kwame Nkrumah. Do you know that Kwame Nkrumah trained as a journalist? Did you ever know? She and Kwame Nkrumah sat in the same class in the School of Journalism to be trained as journalists, including Mabel Dove Dankwa. My brother, my sister. Mabel Dove Dankwa. My brother, my sister. At the time, she even became the editor of the women's column, which focused on women's issues in the Accra Evening Times, a newspaper which was considered radical action at that time. Kwame Nkrumah had a hand in it. My brother, my sister. Today, we are talking about this great black woman. She was born in Ekuapim Mampong. She was the 8th child of 10 children born to Mercy Adebra Mensah. Her father was called Ochiami Kofi Ayisi. In fact, the father was a royal and a linguist for the king, who was also his relative. Now, some of our heroines' uncles were royal fetish priests. They poured libation and prayed to the gods on behalf of the land. Kofi Ayisi, who was the father of our heroine for today, Akua Asabea Ayisi, my brother, my sister, had a total of 70 children. My God. 70 children. He was very busy in the bedroom. 70 children. My brother, my sister. And 10 were born to our heroine's mother by name Mercy Adebra Mensah. Hey, watch this. Mensah's, my brother, my sister, I beg your pardon, Mercy's grandfather was Tete Kwashi. Tete Kwashi. This was a great-granddaughter of Tete Kwashi. I beg your pardon, a granddaughter of Tete Kwashi. My brother, my sister. And she took in the tradition of planting cocoa trees. So she was a cocoa farmer as well. My brother, my sister, Mercy Adebra, the mother of our heroine for today, Akua Asabea Ayisi, was an aggressive woman who wanted to be independent. So eventually, she got her husband to move her to Accra to be close to her family, who were Gans. She didn't want to be with the numerous women, my brother, my sister, who her husband had married. So she moved to Accra and she was with her Ghan family. Akua Asabea Ayisi attended primary school at Presbyterian School in Mampong and subsequently the Presbyterian Girls' School in Osu, Accra, after she moved to be with her mother. She then went to the government secretariat school to complete her education, and in those days it was rare for a woman to receive such a high level of education, but she got all that and she was not even satisfied. She wanted more because her mother believed in women's education. In fact, she was one of the earliest feminists we had, aside Ya Asantua, my brother, my sister. So see what happened. She joined the CPP, Kwame Nkrumah's CPP, and she became the first female journalist recorded in the history of Ghana in 1948. At that time, how old was she? She was only 21 years old. She worked alongside Kwame Nkrumah on the Accra Evening News. Remember, I told you Kwame Nkrumah had a hand in it? It was a daily newspaper established by the former president, Kwame Nkrumah, in 1948. And she wrote political pamphlets and articles and mobilized Ghanaian people to oppose colonial rule. She edited the women's column of the newspaper, oh yes, which was introduced by Kwame Nkrumah, knowing how much women's support was important for the revolution. My brother, my sister, she was a strong woman who stood by Kwame Nkrumah. Oh yes. Now, the launching of the Accra Evening News on the 6th of March 1949 coincided with Kwame Nkrumah's removal from the office of the General Secretary of the United Gold Coast Convention. Remember, it happened, my brother, my sister, 8 years before the independence of this nation in 1949. Hey! Through the newspaper, Nkrumah wanted to fight for full self-governance, not in the shortest possible time, but now and then. Nkrumah created a lot of newspapers and publications during his time as a student activist. And this woman stood by him. My brother, my sister, our heroine for today. Now, before then, in August 1948, along with Kofi Baako, editor of the Cape Coast Daily Mail, and Saki Skek, editor of the Takoradi Times, Ayisi embarked on a countrywide lecture tour promoting resistance against imperialist rule. This woman did that single-handedly. Hey, what a woman. She later became Kwame Nkrumah's first private secretary from 1950 to 1956 and helped Nkrumah write pro-independence slogans to combat British imperial rule, such as "Die with the imperialists." She was the one who invented that saying, "Die with the imperialists." She was such a militant woman. She took after her mother. Hey! My brother, my sister, she took part in a lot of demonstrations and political activisms, including the Positive Action Campaign. She went all the way from Accra to Cape Coast, Takoradi, and other parts of Ghana to fight for independence. Shortly after independence in 1957, our heroine for today, Akua Asabea Ayisi, went to Newnham College at the University of Cambridge, where she studied history, matriculating in 1959. She was called to the bar at Lincoln's Inn in 1963, and from 1963 to 1964, She's recorded by Newham College Records as working at the Paris Sorbonne University. Today we remember this great black woman. In fact, when Kwame Nkrumah was overthrown in 1966, she was not harmed at all because they knew her importance. She was a high court judge, a renowned journalist, and a powerful activist. So 2 years after, in 1968, she took part in the Constitutional Assembly, responsible for writing the new constitution following the Kwame Nkrumah overthrow in 1966. In 1969, she was one of the first women to run for parliament, doing so in the Akuapem North District and ultimately losing. Yes, she lost. But in 1978, she helped draft the new constitution instituted by General Akufu when Ghana changed from Supreme Military Council to democratic rule. Our heroine for today died on the 21st of April 2010 at the age of 83. Today we remember this great black woman who stood by Kwame Nkrumah. She stood by Kwame Nkrumah, worked very hard to see the independence of this nation. The first female journalist Ghana ever had. One of the first high court judges, female, the country has ever had. Mami, Damrifa Due Oyuwala Dong, born to an Akuapem father and a grandmother. She took after her father and mother. Independent-minded mother influenced her, and a father who believed in the independence of his people. My brother, my sister, Akua Asabea Ayisi, in the burden of knowledge, I ask you, now that you know the story of Akua Asabea Ayisi, the first female journalist Ghana has ever had, and one of our greatest high court judges, what would you do? Bianani ole and mini oba fe yanzu da kagane mezaka yide ya apa bango boka ya nfifia ye nyanu kai na wo bana yin we be den lele njima singa be kunne lele njima singa be